If you own a motorcycle, but you don't own a home, you may be struggling to figure out how to store it over the winter months, even if you're in a climate where you don't have to fully winterize it like I am. So here in La Honda, it doesn't really get below freezing. We have a lot of rain in the winter, so there needs to be some sort of rain protection. But I don't want to fully winterize my bike because on the sunny, dry days, I'd still like to take it for a ride. And so if you're in a situation like me where you don't own a home, your options can be a little limited. So I began exploring just some covers on the motorcycles, but I found they really weren't keeping up with the demands of the high rains in California's rainy season. So today I'm going to give you my thoughts on this tent garage from Amazon, and I'll put the link down in the description. So if you're in a similar situation and want to explore this solution, please check that out. But you'll see it's actually fairly sturdy. It's not very expensive. When I purchased this was I think about $130, although it's Amazon, right? So the prices always go up and down a bit. And it's really quite large for just a single bike. So you can see I have my Speed 400 over on the left, and it's a bit dark inside. Of course, there's no natural light that really comes through the dark color here. But I've got a tool bench on the right side, so I really have plenty of room. I can get in and around the bike and do any sort of maintenance or anything I'd like to the bike while everything's protected from the weather. Or if you had two bikes, or even maybe three small bikes, you could fit it in here quite well. So I've overall been so far very satisfied with the quality. I set it up about a week ago, and we've had two pretty severe winter storms come through that involved cars going off the road and trees going down and power going out and all of those things that happen in the California mountains. But the tent stayed pretty sturdy. The only thing I did to kind of reinforce it was it comes with some relatively small tent stakes, and I added some large big wood tent stakes that I strapped it down to. Again, I guess that depends on how windy your environment is and what kind of dirt you have. So a little bit of improved staking, but the sturdiness of the tent itself was quite nice. Another nice feature of this particular tent, and again I'll put the link down in the description, is it has a door on both ends. So you can see I have the other end open at the moment for some ventilation, and I have this end closed. I may go ahead and open that up so we get some breeze through. But you can close it down tight to keep it waterproof, or you can open both ends of the door and get some good airflow through there. One other thing I did, you can see there's an extension cord running out here, is I threw a dehumidifier in here to keep things nice and dry, and that has worked through the worst of the storm. Although of course it's not as good as a garage, but it's by far much better than a motorcycle cover, and really not that much more expensive than a good motorcycle cover. Honestly, it might even be cheaper than a good motorcycle cover. And I think it would stand up. We don't get snow here, but if you're in an environment that gets some light snow, I think it's plenty sturdy enough. You wouldn't have any problem with with 2 or 3 inches of snow on top. If you get heavy snow, it probably wouldn't hold up to that. You'd have to figure something out. But all in all, for me so far, this has been a great choice, and it makes me feel much more comfortable about how I'm storing my motorcycle through the winter, because it was really getting wet through the cover, and I was starting to get kind of nervous about the amount of water that was getting on it. Assembly was pretty easy, and it took me I don't know, maybe 2 hours to assemble, kind of taking a nice leisurely pace. It's not like an easy up. It doesn't just pop up. You've got to bolt tubes together and put it together, but it's really not challenging. If you've got any sort of handiness at all, if you can change your own oil, you can assemble this. It's pretty straightforward. I'd say it's even probably easier than an IKEA furniture piece. Wasn't bad at all. So really great protection for the money.